How are we doing, everybody? I am Jeff Hoke here with, as always, Kevin Perdios and Chris Henrique. And as always, this is Shorthanded Takes, a Boston Bruins podcast brought to you by Couch Guy Sports and Shocked Energy. And this is episode 21. Ever feel unable to focus, tired, and just low on energy? We understand that feeling. We understand it so well that the Shorthanded Takes, a Boston Bruins podcast is brought to you by Couch Guy Sports Network and now sponsored by our friends over at Shocked Energy. Head over to shockedenergy.com and use the promo code CGSN for 10% off your order. That is promo code CGSN for 10% off your order. So it was a nice week of games for the Bruins. They are now 9-1-1 in their last 11, which is a very good sign heading into what is the penultimate week of the trade deadline, which is next Monday. Since we last talked, we went from them losing to the Kings in overtime to them beating the Blackhawks and to them, of course, beating the Coyotes. And now they're on the road playing the Blackhawks right now on a short road trip. Let's break it down a little bit. Linus Ullmark's in net tonight, meaning Jeremy Swayman was in net last game. So Kevin, I'll go to you for the Arizona game. What did you see? How about overall? What did you see overall in these last two games that impressed you?
I guess what we always talk about is the secondary scoring, right? The third and fourth lines seem to really be providing the offense, which is a good sign, I guess. Nothing major stood out. I think I'm going to be typical Boston media guy here and criticize two good wins, but you should have beat them more. You know what I mean? We have to score in the final couple minutes to beat, what was it, the Blackhawks, or was that the Blackhawks game or the Coyotes game?
That was well, they both were one goal games. It was the Coyotes game where they scored in the final 17 seconds.
Right. So you have to wait. So, I mean, overall nitpicking, I know, but good to see some secondary scoring. You would hope that first line really could carry it a little bit more. But, I was listening to the 98.5 on my way home from work just now, and I think it was forgetting who was talking, but they said, it's always one thing or the other. We're criticizing them for secondary scoring, and then when the secondary scoring happens, we're criticizing the first line for not being there. And I think that's kind of true. Your typical Boston media always criticizing them. Nothing's ever good enough. But I think overall it was good. We said last week that we need these 3 wins. These are 3 must-win games. They're teams you definitely should beat, and as of right now, we're on the right track. With that being said, Ullmark is now in net against Fleury, which, so
never bodes well, but we'll see how that goes.
Hold your breath on that.
I was on the radio the other day, obviously, like I am every day, and we were talking about how Linus has been struggling lately. He's kind of got the Yaroslav Halak role of last year. He kind of got the shit end of the stick. He's the one that gets hung out to dry, or when the defense doesn't play well in front of him, or he gives up bad goals. It's kind of like where Yaroslav Halak was last year, and you had Tuukka Rask on the other side of things. It's an interesting take I heard. But so Chris, Kevin mentioned listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub and Boston Media and all that stuff on his way home. That brings me up to this question. Do you think the Bruins are enjoying this little bit of a break from the Boston media due to, you have the MLB season back up and running, getting ready to go. And now you have, that free agency there. Now you have NFL free agency that focuses on the Patriots for the next couple of weeks, probably up until baseball season starts and all that. So you think it's a nice little break from, the Bruins spewing shit?
Yeah, it's a good distraction. And, they're benefiting from, like you just said, the Patriots off season. They're benefiting from the Sox spring training getting going. So there's not a lot of eyes on them. So, I mean, we called it last week towards the end of the show where I said that they needed to, take the first 2 games of that. They did that. Secondary scoring was one of the reasons why they won one of those games. Now they got to continue that momentum. The key thing is going to be, though, is that people are going to start to pay attention a little bit closer as this week begins to carry on, because that trading deadline is literally looming in the shadows like Chaim Bloom right now looking to make a move for the Red Sox. Like it's right there. So I think they got a very small window. They got to get a win tonight, pick up a crucial 2 points, because the schedule that's coming up over the next 5 games, and we'll talk about a little bit later on, it could pose a problem. I think that they got a tough little stretch coming up. So you win tonight, you're going to start to get the eyeballs back on there because of the trade deadline. And then let's see if Don Sweeney can actually do something that Bill Belichick and Chaim Bloom can't do right now, and that's make a move for his hockey club.
Well, Don Sweeney did make a move today. He made a move for that kid out of BC, the captain out of Bill Ricka, as my friend from Chelmsford says it. Bill Ricka. He hates Bill Ricker. But you know, I thought that was a decent signing. But no, you're 100% right. You know, see how this week goes, and it's not an easy schedule coming up, and I'll explain why in a few minutes.
I can't believe I just took a shot at Chaim Bloom. That's very unlike me.
Yeah, what's up with that? What's up with the low
Chris
hanging
is
fruit?
a little feisty today, huh?
He said he was going to be.
I am pro Chaim Bloom. I'll get into why I'm a little feisty a little bit later on.
Oh boy.
I'm pro Chaim Bloom, and this is not. That show is actually going to record in 2 days from now, Into the Triangle.
Ooh, we're back.
On St. Patrick's Day, of all the days.
Sweet Jesus.
You guys picked a great day to
Oh,
record.
good God.
Whoever made that decision needs to, you might want to evaluate who's making those.
Yeah.
It wasn't my choice. We'll have to see how I am
Live from the bars.
when we get to 7:45.
It ain't gonna be pretty, guys.
But
Good luck to you.
yeah, amen.
So
we'll talk about the Sox and all that other stuff on Thursday. But
yeah, so don't miss that on Friday, guys. Might be able to see a drunk Chris.
we'll see if we can push it back.
See if you can push it back.
Podcast.
No, but it's interesting to see what's going to happen in these next couple of days. You see players moving already.
Chris.
They listed Freddie Freeman as the current number 1 target for the free agent target right now. Like, out of all the teams, he's been ranked like the Red Sox, like and I want to say favorites, but they're 2 separate articles now have Freddie Freeman listed as.
Where'd you see that?
This is now Buster Olney, now Hector Gomez. And
Oh.
Hector Gomez, I tell you what, great follow. He has just been nailing this stuff left and right.
Wow. Okay.
I'm gonna get
Interesting.
excited. Let's break some Freddie Freeman news on a hockey podcast.
Oh, dude, that'd be sweet. I don't think it's gonna happen today, but that'd be fucking fantastic. But anyway,
Canadian guy.
I thought we were talking about the Bruins that were on right behind me. I thought something happened. But we talk about what's coming up. Toronto Maple Leafs are playing right now. They're up 3-0 on the Dallas Stars in the third period that just started. But you look at the standings here, and this is interesting. The Bruins have, been in the trail of the Maple Leafs lately. The Maple Leafs have fallen off lately. They lost Austin Matthews for 2 games due to a cross-check in the Heritage Classic against Buffalo on Sunday. So he's out for the next 2 games. But yeah, they're starting to creep up now on Toronto points-wise. They're at Bruins are now 2 points behind Toronto. You can be 2 points still behind tonight if you win this game. So Kevin, will they surpass Toronto? Let's say, I don't want to say, yeah, will they be past Toronto at the end of the season?
Yes. Yeah, I think they will. Toronto is, I'm trying to think of a good comparison. Toronto is the Dallas Cowboys of the NHL. right? Like they on paper, you look and you're like, wow, this team should be nasty. They start taking care of business early on in the regular season. You're like, wow, this might be their year. And then all of a sudden they puke all over themselves. And I have zero faith in them. I think they're a fraud team. Their goaltending's garbage. So we were talking earlier, I kind of expect them to be making a huge push for Marc-Andre Fleury here in the next week? Is it 5 days, 6 days?
Yeah, about 5 days now. Yep.
So that'll be huge for them. But I think they're a fraud team, and I think the Bruins overall are a better team. I think, like you said, they sit 2 points back of them right now. But I expect them to 100% catch the Maple Leafs and pass them. I would want to say the Red Wings are behind us, but I think they're like 20 points behind us.
Yeah,
so.
they're 55 points. They have 55 right now.
Yeah, they're. I wish I could go that further and say they're going to fall even further, but they're not going to fall that far. That's wishful thinking.
They could hypothetically upend the Rangers. They could tie the Rangers if they win today. If the Rangers are to lose, and they're currently tied with a struggling Ducks team right now, 2-2 in the third. So that's an interesting thing to keep an eye on. Florida obviously is still red hot, 86 points, but Hurricanes are in first right now with 87 in the Eastern Conference. So, I mean, as of right now, you're looking at the Bruins playing the Florida Panthers, which is probably worst case scenario right now. I mean, you don't want that wild card spot. You want to try to get up into that non-wild card areas and kind of push Toronto down into a wild card. And the Avalanche have been on a hot streak, hot streak lately. And they are now first in the league. So something we did not see. And the team that has been following the most, we should have had her on today, but we didn't. That'd be the Vegas Golden Knights. They are on I believe, 5-game losing streak right now. Their percentage of making the playoffs have dropped 20 points, I believe, since so it's about 57% chance of them making the playoffs now. Chris, we'll go over to the Western Conference. We talk about how, it's pretty much the Avalanche in the field right now. You look at it in such a tight race. Is there a chance that the Vegas Golden Knights could miss out here?
Looking at from a standing standpoint, yeah, they're 3-7 in their last 10. Lost 4 in a row. No, I think that team's got too much talent. I think that team's got too much talent to not make the playoffs. So they just gotta. I think they're just kind of hitting that current point of the season, like every team does, and they're just hitting they're hitting a cold streak. Yeah. Clearly, right now, like the Avalanche are the cream of the crop out in the Western Conference, and they're talking trades right now too. Like, could be trade partners with the Maple Leafs. There could be a match there. Outside of the Avalanche, though, if you from just like from a points perspective, they all kind of seem bunched and bundled together. Whereas, if with Blues at 76 points, the Wild, who the Bruins will play coming up, they get 72 points. The Predators at 72, the Flames 79, the Kings 70. All those teams with them being so close together, I feel like they're going to beat up on each other. And I think that if the Knights can just right the ship just a little bit, they can kind of steer the course and get back into a better positioning out in the West.
Oh, sorry. Oh, what say you, Kevin? So, you look at, let me see what we have for losing streaks here. So Golden Knights are on a 4-game losing streak. The Ducks. Okay, let's go with the Ducks here. Okay, let's bring up the Ducks. I'm going to bring you to the Ducks. The Ducks started out so well. They did. And there was a time where, they were almost to the top of the standings. Now you're looking down on the standings a lot. They have currently 64 points, 1 point behind the Canucks, 3 points behind the Golden Knights. Is there, obviously they're on the outside looking at the playoffs right now, but do you see them making the playoffs, or is this another year where, they just barely miss it?
I see them making it, and here's why. It's similar to what Chris just said. that Pacific division is really close, right? Like it's a really close division within it. So I think the Oilers are a fraud team, right? Like I don't think they're that good. I don't think they'll last. I think it's a ticking time bomb before something goes south up there and they just completely implode. The Ducks are only 4 points behind them, and the Oilers sit third in the division. So I think that race in that division is so close and so up, still up in the air, really. You can look down to even the Sharks, who are at 59. They can still, you get hot for a month, you're good. You're in. You get a couple weeks where you go, 7-3, 8-2 hockey, you're cooking. So I think the Ducks make it. I don't trust the Canucks and I don't trust the Oilers. I think that both those teams are just kind of hitting their stride at the right time, but eventually will fall off. I think the Ducks are a better team. I think the Golden Knights are a much better team, especially when you have Jack Eichel back playing the way that he should have been playing or has been playing in Buffalo. I know they just booed the shit out of him, but Buffalo's a bunch of frauds too. So, they don't understand.
What team isn't a fraud to you right now?
Everyone but the Bruins is a fraud. Don't you
Seem
know
to be
that?
spitting out frauds left and right today.
No, but I mean, yeah. So I think Vegas is going to be. They're going to be there. The Ducks will overtake the Oilers and the Canucks. So I think they'll sneak in. They'll probably be like a first round exit, but I think they'll sneak in.
Okay. So what? Who's talking? Was it you?
What I'd like though is it always seems like every year the Bruins don't they seem like they make some sort of transaction with the Ducks? Doesn't it seem like that's like their like
that's their go-to team. That's where they got Andre Kasha. That's where they got Nick Ritchie. Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't want that.
Well, what about?
Oh boy.
Read an article on Boston Hockey Now.
It's actually a perfect segue because I was getting ready to go into trade deadline. So there you go.
Would be is sorry, my page is not loading here. Rickard
Raquel.
Thank you.
Raquel.
Thank you. All right. So I read that earlier today and I was trying to pull up his hockey reference. For some reason, my Wi-Fi was not Wi-Fiing here, but 16 goals this year, 12 assists, right wing though. So it doesn't really fit that centerpiece, but I think he's in the final year of a deal.
Yes, he is. Yeah. Because Petrov McGuire on Twitter, the one that likes to say boots on the ground.
It's on the ground.
Yeah, boots on the ground. As he's celebrating Nick Foligno's 1,000th career game, basically said that they're interested in him. The only thing stopping Sweeney right now is he doesn't want to have to give up a lot of assets if he's just going to be a rental. This is kind of a different situation than what the Taylor Hall situation was last year, because you knew he would want to resign. You're not sure if Rickard Raquel is going to want to resign or not. So I would love to have him. So
I don't know if the Ducks would do this, but would the conversation of maybe Jake DeBrusk, is that something that they're still going to get him back, but at least they would have some contractual control and you throw in a draft pick?
Why wouldn't you just do it straight up?
The only reason I was saying they maybe wouldn't do that straight up, because I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, they are going to probably lose the player. At least if you're going to get DeBrusk and it's around similar money, and again, they have that control, just kind of sweeten the pot a little bit.
Yeah.
There's going to be other teams that are going to be.
Yeah. So what if this, like, let's continue down this hypothetical. What if you get DeBrusk to agree that, yeah, I'll sign, another year, 2 year, whatever, I'll sign an extension there, but you don't get that same thing.
You got a better chance of Freddie Freeman going back to the Braves than DeBrusk coming back to Boston.
No. I'm saying DeBrusk agrees that he'll sign an extension in Anaheim.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then all right, yep, he'll agree to it. So we'll do 1 for 1, but we don't get that same. Raquel doesn't give us the same thing. Do we still do it?
It's a good point.
I think we need to have it because like, and this is me kind of. I'm like really transitioning a lot here.
That's fine.
No,
That's what we do on the show.
Well, no, I mean in the regards to like Jake DeBrusk, because the last couple of weeks I've been kind of consistent in saying like stay the course, keep Jake DeBrusk. Now we're 6-7 days away from the trade deadline. Yeah, they're playing good hockey, but and again, like we're on the outside looking in. The Bruins the Bruins have to truly know that there is no market for him. Because if they just hold on to him and they don't get anything back without, like, I think they're going to be doing a disservice to that team. And that's why I'm saying, like, take a look at a guy like the dude we just talked about in Anaheim. Take a look at, from a defensive standpoint too. I mean, the number one defensive target that we've talked about, he's down and out. I still say go get him, no matter with him being hurt.
Yeah, I agree. And that was going to be my takeaway that, you still go get him, but I think Chris, I've been saying this for months. You know what I mean? When we first kind of came out, I think you keep DeBrusk unless it's a package. He's part of a deal that goes and gets another bigger name guy. He stays. I think you have to. I think if you're truly trying to win a Stanley Cup right now, he's playing for a contract. Like that element of it is getting overlooked. He's not going to stop playing. He's not going to mail it in because at the end of the day, if he does that, it fits his MO, and teams in the offseason are going to be like, dude, we're not paying you. Like you're at best a third line guy because you mail it in and you get streaky. We can't rely on you within our top six. So he has to, no matter whether it's in Boston or anywhere else, go out and prove that he is a top six forward. So I think unless it's part of a package to bring in a guy that's really going to make a difference on this team, you keep DeBrusk.
So I want to put this hypothetical out here before we go into the Chychrun situation and a couple of other situations. Saravalli, Frank Saravalli of TSN, basically said the GM Yzerman of the Red Wings, the floodgates are open, basically. Anything's on board, anything's on the board except Mortiz Sider and Lucas Raymond. So let me put this hypothetical out here. What would you put in a package for, let's say, a Dylan Larkin?
Oh,
Well, I was hoping you were going to say that. I was like, I
love Dylan Larkin. I love Dylan Larkin.
You're just tingling on the inside right now.
I became a 57-year-old Jewish woman all of a sudden.
Dylan Larkin is my guy. I love him.
Why are you so close to the camera right now? Oh God. So
that's the podcast, folks.
So if you're listening to this, you don't know what the fuck we're talking about right now. But so let's say there's a couple names out there you could use. You could use Dylan Bertuzzi or you can use Dylan Larkin. But for this case, we're going to use Dylan Larkin because obviously it makes Chris all tingly on the inside. So we're gonna
center. He's young.
Exactly. He's 25 years old. He's still under contract for another 3 or 4 years.
He's a player you can begin to. You have your here and now, but he's a guy that you can build around as the next wave of Bruins. I love that idea. Former first round pick. Again, he's only 25. He'll be 26 in July. Just come on. Like that's the player you go and get. That's like, honestly, like, I'm not saying, open up the cupboards and trade whatever but you're going to go get a player like that. That's someone though, that's going to help at the here and now, but that is also another building block for the future with Pasta, with some of those younger players that's down and that could come up. I mean, I send a handful of picks, send Stanika, send DeBrusk, send
Vakainen.
Yep.
Vaka.
Send the beer guy.
So
send them all.
So yeah, that basically answered my question. I mean, obviously I talked about last week, you would you trade, give away your first round picks at this point because of how bad Don Sweeney is at, drafting first round. I say fuck it. Why not with a situation like this? If the floodgates are open, I mean, there's also rumors that of a lesser name on that team. I think he's on that team. I gotta check. Of a lesser name on that team that could come, and that would be Mark Stahl. So one of the Stahl brothers. It's besides the point. We're talking about Dylan Larkin here, though. Still has now 3 to 4 years on his deal. He just signed a 5-year deal in what year was it? Just signed in. He's a free agent in 2023, basically. So he still has a couple of years left on his deal. He's a first round pick in 2014. Why not? Why not? You're looking. He doesn't want a rental, so why not fucking send it? Yzerman, is he listening? Worst he's gonna say is no.
Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer. I send the whatever the trade value is for like the Brinks truck. That's what I send.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I think draft picks, DeBrusque, Vakanainen, whoever. See ya. Thanks. Get the fuck out.
See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya.
Yeah, like I think Dylan Larkin is a guy that you build your future around, right? Like that's the all right, what do we do when Bergeron leaves? Well, we got Dylan Larkin.
Exactly.
You know what I
You
mean?
can
Like,
put him on the
that's-
first
that-
line.
Right.
Then you have
like,
Marchand.
That's the next. I don't want to say stopgap because it's not a stopgap, but like
You're going to build around him.
right, like that's your okay. Here we go. We're gonna let him ride out his contract in the final year of that contract. We're gonna extend him, and we're gonna continue to build around this guy. We're gonna keep him a Boston Bruin until he retires.
And then you
That's the guy.
Then you slap a contract extension onto Pasternak. You
Right.
got 2 of your 3 first line right there. And you got Taylor Hall.
And the
Throw
other
him
thing-
on the first line.
The other part too, like
You got your goalie
getting
of
a
the
player
future.
like- and that's my point. Like goes about to, like you get a guy like Larkin. What are you telling your team? You're telling your team that we went out and got one of the best players in the league, top 20 player, right? That, by the way, scored almost he's gonna score well over 30 goals this year. He's already at 27. He's gonna give you tremendous upside and depth. Like, to me, you're sending a massive message to that Bruins locker room and saying, I'm invested into this team. I'm invested into seeing where you guys are going to go, not only this year, but beyond. Because, they're signing, it's cute. They're signing all these guys from college and all the other stuff, and it's making a little bit of waves that's out there. But, like, the Boston sports fan, the hockey fan, like, they want to see something that's going to help this hockey club go out and make this move and get Chara and get a defenseman and, let's ride and see what happens.
We're sick and tired of fucking losing in the Eastern Conference Finals, or like I'm so goddamn sick of that. I'm sick of being, we're good, we're not Stanley Cup winning good. I'm sick of being so close and not getting there that you need to just say, fuck it, here we go. And it's the spoiled Boston fan in me. I know, I understand, but I'm sick of this. Yeah, we're building for the future. We're right there, but we're not going to do anything to do it. We're going to let our guys continue to develop. Screw it. Go win a friggin' Stanley Cup. Like, just put, like you said, invest in Dylan Larkin, put it in there, get your best foot forward, go get Chara to bring back as like your third move. Really send a message to Bergeron, Marchand, and Pasta. Hey, we're behind you. We're doing what we can to push this to give you guys another Stanley Cup, right? See if that gets them back fired up a little bit, right? Like, I bet you if you do this, the Bruins are going to tear through some people. If you do this, they're going to go on a friggin' roll because you're going to have a fired up Bergeron. You're going to have a fired up Marchand. Pasta's going to keep doing what he's doing. You got a goaltender that's playing best in the league at this point. He's being unreal when he's in there.
It does
Watch out.
Like that,
Watch out.
Like that, and I'm not saying that Patrice Bergeron needs to be rejuvenated, right? But does a player like that in your final year of your contract, does Bergeron go and say, hey, you know what? They went out and got a decent young player. He's going to eventually be the future guy we build around, and come back on a 2-year deal. Come back on, is that something that Bergeron wants to do? Continue to continue his career with the Bruins, continue to stay to be the captain. Maybe he's not making 6 and change. Maybe now he makes 3, 7, 4 million because there's all those added elements of what he brings to the table. Unfortunately, guys, I'm super optimistic. I want to see something like this happen. My gut's telling me.
Well, no, God, no.
My gut's telling me that it's going to be like today. You know what I mean? Like Belichick trades
Shaq Mason.
Trade Shaq Mason. We got all the rumored innuendo about the Red Sox, and now we're gonna. So you know what though? Not a lot of Bruins talk. Maybe we can get a little something going on social media with this Dylan Larkin thing and see what people.
100%, and that's why I'm hoping that you'll clip this off and post it onto our Twitter page once we're done with it tomorrow. You're that guy now. You're my social media guy. So
you're the clip it guy.
You're the clip it guy.
Clip it.
But no, I thought it was a interesting, kind of a pipe dream kind of scenario. Looking at, funny enough, I talked about Mark Stahl. He literally just scored a goal for Detroit. So
if it's that much of a pipe dream though, like if they're saying the floodgates are open and you go to them,
well, it just depends on if Sweeney wants to call him or not.
I mean,
that's what makes it a pipe
dream.
But like, Sweeney going to pick up the fucking phone?
If you're Sweeney and you make that call, right, you have to. I don't give a shit if it's, Dylan Larkin says, I will play anywhere in the world but Boston. And he's on the market.
You have Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like you still have to make that call. I don't give a shit. You have to pick up the phone and be like, "What? All right, what's it gonna take?" Because there's a price. It's a business, right? If they're selling off Dylan Larkin, they're building for the future. Right away, draft picks. All right, here's my first round this year, next year, whatever you want to do. Here's Jake DeBrusk, who agreed that he'll sign an extension with you. Here's X, whatever else, because it's going to be a haul. But if you're Detroit and you're looking to build for the future and you get a Jake DeBrusk back, right, who's a solid player, not saying he's, first line caliber, but solid, another solid player that's agreed to be here for the future. You get 3 draft picks who Detroit's, give credit to them, has drafted very well. So, all right, yep, we're going to get 3 guys and 2 or 3 guys in here at least that are very good players. They're young.
And do you say no? Do you sprinkle in Mason Lowry in maybe? I see you mulling that one. Let's say they don't want DeBrusk. Okay, let's say they say no to DeBrusk. Okay, let's say DeBrusk doesn't want to play for the Detroit Red Wings long term, so he's not going to resign with them. What if you're going to have to throw in probably someone on a deal, and you probably one of your prospects next to the 3 2 first round picks? Would you throw in a Mason Lowry? You Fabian Lysel's off the board. Okay, no one's touching him. Okay, you just drafted him. You know what he has. You know he's good, but you're not gonna trade him. Untouchable. Mason Lowry is probably your second best prospect right now. So, would you take that? 2 first round picks, Mason Lowry, and let's say Clifton or Vakanainen.
Yeah, I think so.
It's a risk you're taking, but
I think so because
Lark is 25, so you're in a good age range,
right? And here's why, right? I'm not gonna shit on this completely, but it's kind of similar to how I view this is very similar to like the Red Sox and how they just shove how good their pitching prospects are down our throat until it's time for them to pitch at Fenway, right? Like until it's time for them to really execute and like get going and produce at the top level, they're, oh, this guy's great. This guy's great. This guy's great. This guy's great. Yep, absolutely. Case in point, remember Henry Owens? What happened to that fucking dude?
Well, he decided to walk every batter known to man.
Yeah, we got that guy shoved down our throat for like what seemed like 8 years. This guy's great. Yep, he's the next ace of the staff. Yep. Gets up into the Red Sox and holy shit, dude, you can't pitch 1 inning. Like you are bad. So this is similar to, not saying Mason Lowry is going to be the same guy, right? Like I hope he's a stud. I hope he turns into the answers we're looking for when it's his time to come, if he stays in Boston. We don't know. We know what Dylan Larkin is. We know what we get in him. Yeah, I do that. I think I do it because this kid could very well, making the jump from college to pros is a lot bigger than people think. So I think you do it. I think you include him. And I really think you just have to focus on, especially if you're Don Sweeney, where your window is, we need a win right now. You got to do it.
Yep. So we'll discuss this a little further here. I want to discuss some of the other trade deadline things first. Chikrin's off. Well, he's not off the market, but he's injured. Thanks to our buddy Derek Forbert, who apparently didn't want him to come to Boston because they take his job and he didn't want to lose the job. So what did he do? He boarded him into the into next year and decided to put him out for 2 to 4 weeks. The question is, will he get traded? And obviously, I already heard the answer from you two. You guys both think he should still get traded, and you still think the Bruins should go after him. Technically speaking, his draft stock has gone down now because he's injured. You're not going to want to get as much. Teams aren't going to want to give up as much now that he's injured because it's the second time this season he's injured. He missed most of the first half of the season because of an injury. So, and we also talked about Thomas Hertl. He's off the board. As of right now, he's off the board. We'll see if that changes at all. Then John Klingberg is now off the board. So, there goes 2 good trade acquisitions that could have gone down. So that brings us to the Anaheim Ducks, which we talked about earlier. Rickard Rakell is one name. Lindblom is another name. I believe he's a defenseman. I can't remember. Huskar Lindblom is his name. Anybody know that?
Yeah, I'm pretty. Yeah, that's his
name. He's one of the trade targets that have been talked about. There was another. I think Derek Grant was talked about too on that team. We now talked about the Detroit Red Wings. Floodgates are open there. Everyone except Lucas Raymond and Moritz Seider are on the board. And we talk, obviously Dylan Larkin is our main guy in that. You could also look towards Bertuzzi, Mark Stahl, any of those guys, the lesser names, obviously, to Dylan Larkin. Arizona Coyotes, Chikrin, it's really about it for them. I mean, you got Louis Eriksson, but I mean, what's he really gonna? I mean, he's been doing well. Nick Ritchie, but he literally just got traded there, and
Louis Eriksson's fitting in on the third line would be kind of clutch.
Oh, 100%. So you got that. I got something to say after this too. It's not related to that. And then, the Sharks with Hertl. Yeah, I don't really know if Brett Burns, maybe. I mean, there's really not many good players on. Reimer isn't that good anymore for goalie. So, I mean, you can't really. And
I think the goalie market's all like, we're not in the goalie market.
So the name.
I'm not on Louis Eriksson, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not in on him either, but I'm just, I'm just naming off names right now. I'm going around. What was that?
You call 50 games, 2 goals. You might as well just call up Sinishin from Providence to give you more production than Eriksson will.
You then go to Seattle Kraken, who was the Bruins West. At this point, I want nothing to do with any of those guys. The one name that has been brought up, and he was scratched from today's game, prior to today's game, is Ben Chariot of the Montreal Canadiens. Chris, I want to ask you. He's a defenseman, and he's that guy that Klingberg's off the board now, and let's say Chikrin, It's obviously, he's obviously no Chikrin, but would you take a Chariot at that point with everything that's been going down right now?
Yeah, I would. I mean, he's a player that I don't know. I don't know if Montreal makes the move with Boston though. And I'm just curious how much of a market is there for him? Like are the Canadians like truly motivated to move him? It's a name that's out there, but I know they're not a good hockey team, but like, are they motivated to move him? I would be okay with it. I think he would fit in very nicely. I think it's kind of fits what we've been saying that they're looking for. That'd be a player that you could put on that second pairing. I think it'd be a perfect fit here. I just wonder if one, Montreal is motivated to move him to Boston, and two, are they even motivated to move him at all?
Oh, he was scratched today for asset protection, so I mean, they're obviously looking to move him, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. And then the other team, we talked about this last week. The Islanders are bad this year. Wow, I didn't notice that.
Terrible.
That's besides about. Hey, can we trade for Matthew Barzal? No, I won't bring that up.
No, I would give up the farm for that.
Even though we could have easily, we could have just easily had him in 2015 with one of our 3 straight picks. So let's just give up the farm for him.
Imagine that you put DeBrusque.
Well, we do.
You did put DeBrusque in there as part of a package.
Those 3 picks.
It'd be such
give him 3 first-round picks and DeBrusque, and just say, "Hey guys, we fucked up, so here you go.
Here's your guy. This is the guy you really wanted." Sorry, but the last name I want to mention before we move on to the end of the show is obviously the Flyers and Claude Giroux. He's going to be moved one way or another. There's no doubt about that. It's just a question as to where. The Rangers are one of the teams involved, so keep an eye on that one. There's a few Bruins are involved in some sort of way. I don't know the full involvement there. There's a few teams here and there. I believe the Avs are still involved on him. The Avs have been loading up too. They just got a Manson from the Ducks, so that'd be interesting. That brings up Kevin. Let's say we know how bad the Flyers are right now. They're going to be going for a fire sale. Do you trade? Would you trade, given Chikrin and Klingberg off the board? Would you trade for a Provorov or a Yandel? I think I pronounced that Provorov. Yeah, him.
I'm like I'm kind of biased because I love Yandel, right? Like I love Yandel.
Iron Man.
So I'm biased in that. Oh man, that's tough. I guess I'll go Yandel. You know what I mean? Like I guess I go Yandel on it because, like you just said, Iron Man, right? Like the guy
hasn't missed a game.
When you get into the playoffs, what killed us the last few years is depth, right? Like we got hurt and it exposed all our weaknesses. So yeah, I'm putting more faith in, especially if we're in a win now mode. We need guys that are on the ice, right? Like we need guys that I can rely on that, hey, big tough dude that's gonna battle through everything. Kind of like a Zdeno Chara. It's too bad we can't get a guy like that, like guy that plays through a broken jaw for his city. And, but hey, we let that type of guy walk away because Don Sweeney is a fucking clown. But that's another point, So yeah, I think I go with Yandel. Their durability is really what it comes down to. I love Yandel, so I'm biased. I'll admit it, but
let me make sure. Do you love Yandel?
No, I hate that dude.
Okay, I just want to make sure if you liked him or you hated him. Okay.
Yeah, I just think sure. Especially at this point, you gotta do whatever you can to improve the team. So I'm almost always gonna be on board with a move to get a guy like that. Obviously bearing the price, what's the price to get him? What do we have to give up to get him? If you have to give up like Swayman, which I know you're not doing, or McAvoy or whatever, like guys that you're going to be your cornerstones of the future, obviously not, but almost everyone else that you really aren't going to build a future around. Yeah. Go get something to make this make this run legit,
Oh yeah, no, 100%. So let's move on. I want to get towards the end now. So before we move on to the upcoming schedule, a couple things I need to house cleaning issues. Not issues, but so Monday we will be recording our next episode. Yes, it's a Monday, but Monday is the trade deadline day, so we will be having a trade deadline special. We're going to record probably around. I think trade deadline's at 3, so we'll probably do the final hour of trade deadline. So probably we'll start recording around 2, and then you don't want to miss it. We might go up on Spaces or something. I don't know. We'll decide that once the time comes. I'll have Chris work on that. He's our Twitter guy over there.
I got a side note. I don't know if either of you two follow Spittin' Chicklets.
Yes.
Jesus, I cannot talk. Spittin' Chicklets.
Chicklets.
I just opened my phone, and the first thing pops up is their Instagram thing.
Yep.
And the topic of conversation is the New York Rangers trading for Patrick Kane.
Yes, I did see that. Yep. That is a topic of discussion.
Wagon.
They talked to, I can't remember who they talked to.
Yeah. If that happened, and the conversations are happening.
No, they are 100%.
If that happens, wow.
I think Philip Cheadle will be a part of that deal if he gets traded.
Wow.
So it's just, that's something to keep an eye on because you got it would be, he's a center, right? Is he a center or is he a wing? He's a center. So
center.
You put him on the first line with Kreider and Zibanejad. So, I mean, move Strome down to the second line. Good Lord. Oh, I don't want to think about that. Anyway, one last thing I need to say before we move on to the end of the show is that we have a new third all-time goal scorer, and that is Alex Ovechkin, who just passed Jaromir Jagr for third most goals in NHL history. Any comments, guys, on that, or you just want to keep quiet on that, or what are we doing?
I was Twitter.
Twitter.
Good for him.
No, yeah, good for him, but also fuck you, Russia. Come for me.
I didn't want to be the one to do it, Seth. You've already pissed off Russia enough over the last.
Yeah, let's not do anything out of vein right now. We don't need to do that. But no, definitely congratulations to him. He obviously he's still going, and I think he's still got another 2 or 3 years on his deal. He's going for that second one now. He's not that far off. He's pretty far off from Wayne Gretzky, obviously, but I mean, it's becoming a little more realistic by the day.
Yeah, good for him. I'm happy for him. I love watching that guy play. He's unbelievable. His style of play is amazing. He's electric, right?
Yeah.
It's too bad Putin is their president. I shouldn't say fuck Russia. I should say fuck Putin.
I'm just saying there was someone that went on Russian TV with a sign that says, stop the war, and she disappeared about a half hour later, never to be seen again.
Yep.
Just saying.
So not Russia. I believe there are very good people over in Russia. I do. So I think there's very good people over there. But Putin, let's go, bud.
You're gonna fight him? Is that
I'll take that old bag. Are you kidding me?
Dude,
I'll look him in the.
He comes strolling on in, but shirtless on his horse.
I was just thinking that.
He ride in on, and he's ready to throw down.
Let's go. I'll let him pick the hand that beat the shit out of him.
This might be up there next to the Holocaust discussion we had for some reason. It's not
an accident.
It's not number one. This one isn't an accident. This one's actually going down right now. I don't know why, but it is. So put it on the Twitter poll there, Chris. Who would win in a fight, Vladimir Putin or Kevin Perdios? please.
Best part is that Russia's never going to see it because they have like blocked all kind. Their everything.
Exactly. So go
They're
ahead.
cowards. They're
Post that for me.
cowards.
Post that for me.
Why?
I want to see the.
Cowards.
I want to see the reaction on that one. I'm gonna vote Putin on that one. I'm sorry, Kevin. I just can't. I can't not. I ain't disappearing. So I'm gonna vote Putin on that one. I ain't gonna let that happen to me. Anyway, while that's going on, upcoming games as of right now, it is 0-0. Chicago and Boston right now in Chicago. They then head to Minnesota tomorrow to face a red hot Wild team. Man, that first line is disgusting. Man, oh man, Zuccarello and freaking Capra. That second line, Boldy's starting to heat up now too, which is even more scarier. But besides that, they go to Minnesota tomorrow. Friday they will be at Winnipeg, and then Monday, trade deadline day, they will be at Montreal. And that is, like Chris said, it's not the easiest of schedules. Montreal's playing better now. Montreal, Nick Suzuki's on a roll right now. Cole Caulfield's starting to heat up again, which is a good sign for them, obviously. Winnipeg's not an easy team. I think is that the one with Thatcher Demko? Or was that Hellebuck? This goalie, can't remember. I think it's Hellebuck. Anybody?
What was the question?
Winnipeg's goalie.
I think it's Demko. I think Demko's up there.
I can't remember if he was in Vancouver.
I'm pretty sure Winnipeg's goalie is Demko.
I couldn't remember. Okay.
Let me see. I'll look it up. I'll get back to you.
Okay. So
besides, you got Tampa Bay 2 next week. Yeah, if
yes.
you go in there with momentum.
Yeah, no, definitely. You got Tampa Bay right after the trade deadline. So if you make a trade on Monday, you'll most likely have them for the Tampa Bay game. And I believe that's on the road, right? That's in Tampa.
Yes.
Yeah. That's where it gets tough. But the good news is something we haven't talked about yet is, Andre Vasilevsky hasn't played well lately. He hasn't been playing up to his potential. He's been struggling lately. So that's something to keep an eye on too.
It's behind Tampa Bay.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a crucial stretch coming up. And with that crucial stretch coming up, we'll just go with the next 3 games. We won't worry about Tampa Bay right now. But Kevin, hot take for the next 3 games.
First off, Demko's in
Vancouver. Okay, that's what I thought.
Not Winnipeg. Hot take for the next 3 games. Oh man.
Easy. Don't hurt yourself.
This is tough, man. I told you guys at 1:00 this afternoon. My brain wasn't working.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I put it to work.
It's doing.
I apologize. I put it to work. I'm really not sorry.
All right. So this is hot take. Probably going to end up in the penalty box after this one.
It's fine.
But
it happens.
We'll beat the Wild. We'll beat the Jets, and we'll lose to Montreal.
I mean, it's totally possible. I'm not gonna rule that out, dude.
I honestly think I think it's that trap game that somehow with the deadline coming up and there could be some scratches. I don't know. I just think we go 2-1 over the next 3 games, and we lose to Montreal. Bottom line.
Just stop talking while you're at it.
Yep, I'm gonna quit now, guys. I'll see you on Monday.
Okay, Chris, what you got for us?
Well, you're gonna benefit from playing the Wild, who, as of tonight, they're 3-6-1 in their last 10 games. So and it's a team as well that's lost 2 in a row. So they're playing a team that is scuffling right now. I think it's a benefit for the Bruins. So I think they go to Minnesota. They're gonna take care of business against the Wild. I feel comfortable. I feel comfortable with that. As for Winnipeg, I think it's kind of the same thing. The only problem is you want to just flip that around a little bit. Winnipeg is 5-3 in their last 5-3-2 in their last 10 games. But I think it's a team that you need to take care of business with. You can't let a team that is at a bottom of a conference fighting and then fighting for a playoff spot, but at the bottom of a conference to derail any sort of momentum that you're trying to establish. The concern for me would be the Montreal game. One, it's Bruins Montreal. It's always a tough matchup when you play the Canadians, no matter how good or bad either team is. And they've been playing good hockey as of late. I mean, they're 6-3-1 in their last 10. So, do the Bruins get a hot Canadians team, or do the Bruins get a Canadians team that just traded off some pieces? And similar to like last year, remember when they were on the deadline, they played a million games against what it felt like the Sabres constantly, and the Bruins were able to feast on that. So maybe that will end up happening. So I would love to see the Bruins over the next 3 games take all 3 games, go 3-0, build some massive momentum before you play Tampa Bay. Because I look at it from this standpoint, if you can go ahead and grab 6 points over the next, not counting tonight, but so let's say they win tonight, say you pick up 8 points, now you're sitting at 85 points. Depending on what the Lightning do, you're in a position where if you lose to Tampa Bay, it doesn't hurt as much. Whereas if you're still where you're at right now, you're going to be 2 points further behind them. You got to take care of business over the next 3 games. You need to take care of business against these teams, and you need starting by beating Chicago tonight.
I like it. So 2-1 for Kevin on this trip, with them losing to Montreal.
Break the brooms out.
And break the brooms out for Chris, 3-0. None of those are really sin bin worthy, so we're not going to really worry about putting one in the sin bin on that one. Only one.
I feel like if you lose to Montreal, the entire team needs to go in there.
Well, I mean, it's a rivalry, so it's kind of hard. It's like when the Jets and Patriots play. It's just so hard to, or the Yankees and Red Sox. It's always been a rivalry. With that being said, Shocked Energy, we are brought to you by Shocked Energy. Head over to shockedenergy.com and use promo code CGSN for 10% off your next order. That is promo code CGSN for 10% off your next order. Once again, Monday we will be recording. We haven't decided, ironed out all the things yet. We might go live on Spaces. I don't know. We'll see. We'll kind of go with it.
We may have surprise. Who knows?
Hey, who knows? We might. We'll figure it out as we go.
The only way though we can afford a surprise though is you need to do the read for the gun.
Oh yes, that's right. That was gonna be my next one. Thank you. Actually, we're also brought to you by Exogun, the massage gun, and massaging company. I really need one right now because working out lately has been a pain in my back. Legitimately, I had to skip workout today because my back hurts, but that's just me being an old 25-year-old with the body of a 6-year-old, pretty much.
No, it's just from carrying Chris and I and having to keep us in line all the time. That's all.
Oh, that's back surgery right there.
It happens.
It does, sadly, but no, we'll be on around 2 p.m. 2 p.m. on Monday. So keep an eye out on that. Keep an eye out on Twitter for that. And the podcast will be up on Tuesday morning for everyone who missed that. Once again, I am Jeff Hoke. That's Chris Henrique. That's Kevin Perdios. This has been episode 21 of Shorthanded Takes, a Boston Bruins podcast brought to you by Couch Guy Sports, sponsored by Shocked Energy and Exogun, the massaging gun. Once again, I'm Jeff Hoke. That's Kevin Perdios, and that's Chris Henrique. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.